workers who toil night and day by hand and by brain to earn your pay, who for centuries long past for no more than your
It's great to be here in a work site where delegates and workers are standing up against work choices. As everybody knows, the whole of the trade union movement in this election campaign, for that matter for the last year or two, has been running a campaign to show the effect of work choices, on Australian working families, and we know that it's reduced conditions of employment, particularly through the operation of AWAs. It's taken away rights at work that people have had for unfair dismissals. It's reduced the role of the independent umpire. It's actually interfered in the sort of arrangements that have applied right across industry, and I think local government is a good example of that, where there have been arrangements that have applied in the different states. Sometimes that's an issue of state awards and state arrangements. Now work choices is attempting to interfere in that, and in fact that's actually being challenged in some states in the High Court. The two most important issues perhaps for the future of industrial relations, and indeed the future of the country, are the sort of rights that we have to join a union, the right of freedom of association, and the right of collective bargaining, the right to be able to actually sit down through the union if the majority of people want that and get an agreement that's actually appropriate to the industry. Even in the United States, a country which is of course considered to be very anti-union, that if a majority of workers want a collective agreement, there's a basis of getting that. Now, as I understand this position here, the majority of workers have clearly said in a ballot that they want a collective agreement through their union, the ASU. Notwithstanding that, the CEO has said no. The Your Rights at Work campaign is a campaign about the basic issues. In order, of course, to get rid of work choices, we need to change the government. But it is a campaign that will go on, because these issues will still be there irrespective of the government, and to an extent maybe, even if the legislation still gets a bit better. You still have employers who refuse to negotiate. The question is, do we have a mechanism to actually deal with that? Does the legislation actually help the resolution of disputes like this? And so it's really crucial that we do have that sort of legislation. In order to do that, we need to get rid of work choices. That's why the election campaign is really crucial. What is the effect of work choices, and do people actually think that if Howard and Costello are re-elected, they won't go further? All the evidence is, in fact, that they will. All the statements that they've made in the past, statements by Nick Minchin, by Peter Costello, by other members of the cabinet, all the pressure by employers that's on them now says that they should go further. And of course, before the 2004 election, they said nothing about work choices. So you cannot believe the sort of undertakings that they might make now when they're concerned about the effect that work choices is having on the election campaign.